Grand Theft Auto 6's Grassrivers is going to be the most detailed part of Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, the Grassrivers is Grand Theft Auto's parody or satire of the Florida Everglades. And if we look at the mapping project, which is a project put together by very educated fans and individuals to create what might be the Grand Theft Auto 6 map. And if we look at this mapping project, the Grassrivers is at the very bottom of the map, just above the keys. It is on the very south side of the Grand Theft Auto 6 map, which is Leonida, which Leonida is just Florida. And if we compare this to the actual Google Maps of the Everglades, it is almost in the exact same position, right below Miami and right above the Keys, just like the mapping project is predicting. Now the Grassrivers is very swamp-like. It's gonna be a lot like what we saw in Red Dead Redemption 2. In Red Dead Redemption 2, we see a large portion of the map is very swamp-like, and we see a lot of weird things. We see alligators, of course, a lot of wildlife, but we also see night folk, which are people in the swamp in Red Dead Redemption 2, which will just crazy people pretty much. And I feel like we will get a reference to them in Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, the Grassrivers is most likely going to be heavily inspired by the Red Dead Redemption 2 swamp. But I wouldn't say an exact copy and paste because we don't see as much swampy trees. We see high grass and high water, but as you can see here, it's not too high. The water, like, you can still drive in it almost. It goes most likely up to your knees. And that's just in some areas. I'm sure the deeper you get into the Grassrivers, the higher the water will get. Now, in this section of the map, we're going to see a lot of wildlife. Like, as we see in these screenshots, we see a lot of birds and, of course, alligators. That's going to be a huge part of this section of the map. There's going to be alligators absolutely everywhere. And also flamingos, which I had no clue flamingos were in the Everglades. That still might not be true, but there is flamingos in the Grassrivers in Grand Theft Auto 6 with alligators and birds and whatever else they have, ducks and whatnot. And because of the high wildlife in these areas, there's going to be a lot of hunters, not only hunters, but poachers. We see in this screenshot, there's what I assume to be hunters standing on top of a alligator, and I think that's a fox or bobcat. And in another screenshot, we also see police chasing a truck full of alligators, meaning I don't know what the laws look like for hunting alligators in Florida. I don't know if it's illegal or maybe only legal for certain times of the year, but maybe they kill too many or it's not hunting season. I'm not sure, but the cops are chasing them, which I'm assuming for it to be over these alligators. Now, I'm sure the biggest focal point of this area is the alligators and hunting. Hunting is going to be huge for this area. But there's also going to be residential areas. There's a town in Grand Theft Auto 6 in the Grassrivers called Watson Bay. Now, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be inspired by Cedar Peak, which is in the Everglades, Florida, but I could be wrong, but it is heavily speculated that this is inspired by Cedar Peak. But we see in this screenshot, there's a lot of bars and stores and parties and just little shops going on. So there's going to be residential areas, and I'm sure there's going to be rural areas for people to stay in. I'm sure there's going to be normal houses people can live in. I'm sure it's going to be just a normal spot on the map, but it might be a little country. The people there might be a little country and just outlandish folk that live on this section of the map. Now, I'm absolutely excited for this part of the map. I feel like this part of the map is going to be, I feel like it's going to be very creepy at a certain time in the day. I feel like at nighttime there's no way they don't have some type of ghost in this area. I remember in Grand Theft Auto 5 when that little small swamp they have by the military base, there was always people saying that there's monsters there and stuff, and I'm sure they're gonna put some type of reference to those myths we had in all these swamps. And Red Dead Redemption 2 even had a ghost in their swamp. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of Easter eggs in the Grass Rivers, and I'm sure this is gonna be a wonderful part of the map to explore. I'm sure this part of the map may get lonely and it may be very dangerous due to the alligators, but I'm so excited for this section of the map. But right now, that's all I got, so stay tuned.